You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 11th, 2024 meeting of the LaPorte County Sheriff Merit Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the September 11th, 2024 meeting of the LaPorte County Sheriff's Merit Board. If you'd please rise for the pledge, and after that, please stay for a moment of silence for the victims of September 11th terror attack in World Trade Center. This is the 23rd anniversary, so if you please stay.
Yeah, yes. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just for the record, at this point, Laura Francisconi and Miss Mock are both absent. However, we still have three, so we have a quorum, so we can proceed. Did everyone receive the minutes from last month's meeting?
Yes.
If so, are there any corrections to be made?
No.
Hearing none, to have a motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Motion seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you.
Please.
Oh. Miss Mock has arrived. Well, we're glad to see they've got the whole room opened up for us today. I thought maybe that was hopes of having a good crowd since Captain Heineck showed up for a meeting, and I'm not sure, but welcome back, Captain.
Sure.
And how are you? Sheriff, how are you today?
I'm very well this morning on this beautiful fall day.
Yep, for sure, for sure. Okay, we'll turn it over to you.
Great. Well, thank you for having that moment of silence for the victims of September 11th on this 23rd anniversary, in which 2,977 individuals lost their life that morning. I know I can remember very vividly, even though it's been 23 years ago, that morning and everything. They say that this is our generation's Pearl Harbor. You'll always remember that day, and I do. So thank you for that moment of silence. Our calls for service between July and August increased. Our total calls for service increased 5% from 2,234 to 2,353. Our crash reports increased 10% from 77 to 85. Our traffic stops increased significantly by 24% from 706 in July to 874 in August. That's because we've been doing a bunch of grant-funded traffic enforcement, so that's the reason for the increase there. Our car gear crashes increased 33%, and as we proceed into the fall season, we expect that to significantly increase as well too. Year to date, we're closing the gap a little bit. We had been around that 15% difference from this time to last year. We're only at 11% decrease from this year compared to last year in 2023. We had responded to 19,441 calls compared to this 2024, 17,314. If the weather continues to stay nice, we'll probably even close that gap even more as well. But we are a little bit down this year compared to last year. Deputy Alexander Nolan has started phase 4 of his FTO training. He's doing extremely well, and we are expecting him to be finishing up here in the next couple of weeks. He'll probably be solo by time our next meeting. That's going to be a huge relief. He's going to go to the afternoon shift, and much needed to start getting these guys off of FTO. And it's going to help us even more saving of overtime money. Deputy Daniel Diaz is began his training at NILEA, which began July 27th. He is doing extremely well there as well. And again, he's expected to graduate in November. We'll get him back, get him through FTO, and then he'll be done with FTO late winter, early spring, and be on his own. So hopefully by March of next year, everything will be fully staffed and we can be done with this FTO process and academy stuff for a while. So on Saturday, August 24th, deputies from the Sheriff's Office participated in Rescue Reelers Kids Fishing Derby, in which teams from the Sheriff's Office, LaPorte City, Michigan City Police Department, and the LaPorte Fire Department fished with approximately 40 kids from the community. I'm happy to announce that Team Sheriff's Office took first place and the traveling trophy with 27 fish caught that morning. Myself, Chief Ott, Deputy Adams, Deputy Buford, Captain Hahn, and Detective Derek Deck all participated in that morning. It was a fun time. As a matter of fact, Chief and Captain Hahn have visions of hosting a breakfast out there next year for the kids when they come out there in the morning. Lunch is also provided, but they want to take it even bigger and maybe host a breakfast for the kids as they come out. Each kid's provided with a fishing pole and a tackle box that is theirs to keep after the fishing tournament. It was a beautiful day, and we had a good time. So
Now the rumor is you had the scuba team out there hooking fish to the line.
I'm going to plead the fifth, and I'm not going to give my secrets out.
Okay.
We were fortunate enough to win, and what was neat about that is the rest of the teams all tied for second with 13 fish caught.
Wow.
But the Team Sheriff's Office took first with 27 fish. So there was some good camaraderie out there between the departments and everything that morning. So our 9 new patrol vehicles finally have come in and are currently being outfitted. As a reminder, these were ordered this time last year, and we knew they probably weren't going to be here till fall of this year. You'll notice that they're a little bit different this year in that they're white versus the traditional brown. The brown is now become an additional upcharge with Ford, and the only options that we're able to pick are black and white. I have here that it is the garage's plan to have them out on the street by the end of the month, but speaking with Bob Parks, our head mechanic, yesterday afternoon, he's going to have 5 of them on the road by the end of the day today. So, and then he's going to finish up with the remainder and get them out definitely by the end of the month. So he wanted to get these turned over pretty quick. The other ones are old ones that are being traded in. Some of them had in excess of 160,000 miles on them, so they're definitely due to be traded in. So with these 9 new ones, really puts the fleet in really good shape and in a good position. And we're going to start the process of seeing what we're going to need for next year for new cars. We don't believe that we're going to need as many going into next year, but we'll sit down here once these new ones get out on the street and exactly what we need. So on Tuesday, September 3rd, began the Sheriff's Office Citizens Police Academy. Detective Deck come to us a couple of months ago, asked if he could start a Citizens Police Academy. I was absolutely in favor of the idea. I loved it. When Sheriff Mullenauer was the sheriff, I personally started one here at the Sheriff's Office many years ago. Held it for about 4 or 5 years, but then I was promoted and didn't have the time, and it kind of lost track as far as anybody else wanting to pick it up. So when Detective Deck come to us about that, I was absolutely thrilled with it. The citizens get an in-depth, behind-the-scene look workings of the Sheriff's Office. Last night was their second meeting, so things are going very well. They have probably about, I want to say, maybe 20 to 25 participants in that class, so they're a real nice class. So really excited for this. Captain Smythe, if he'd come to the podium and provide us a synopsis of the Marine Patrol and the activities for the summer boating season.
Good morning, everybody. So as you guys know, we were able to add a second jet ski this year to our Marine Patrol. So I really want to thank the Sheriff for his support and Major Cicero we were able to purchase the second jet ski without any taxpayer dollars being used. It was all asset forfeiture monies. So with that, we still have a few hours left to work, where we're going to be working this weekend because it's going to be nice. But so far, we've worked 189 man hours. We've contacted 127 boats, 350 people. We've wrote 87 warnings, about a half a dozen citations, and we've done 19 boat inspections. So, and with the boat races, which was last month, we spent 68.5 hours on Lake Michigan for the boat races. So, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
For clarification, that new jet ski, the money was bought with money from the drug task force and the money that they had seized, not our typical asset forfeiture. This was the LaPorte County Drug Task Force seizure money that paid for this jet ski. So, this past week, I received a donation from the VFW Auxiliary 1130 out of LaPorte, the Women's Auxiliary, for a nice donation to our canine program. They've been very good supporters of the Sheriff's Office. The Women's Auxiliary made a significant donation several years ago for the Bolt for the Heart and the AED program, which they sponsored an AED for themselves. And then recently, like I said, this week, I received a very nice check from them for the donation for the canine program, and that's been deposited into our canine donation account. Back to school reminder. All LaPorte County schools have begun, and with the new school year, we're reminding motorists to be aware for the kids and especially the school buses and the stop arms. I cannot fathom, but the complaints that we have been receiving of people passing the school bus since the beginning of this school is just out of control. I am just flabbergasted. I'm upset. I'm saddened by that we're getting this many complaints of people passing the school buses when the stop arms are on. There is no reason for it. We have a zero tolerance approach to this. It's an instant ticket. There will be no warnings if you get caught passing a school bus with the stop arm out. And I said it before, if you're going to do it in a reckless manner, you're going to go to jail for reckless driving. We're going to impound your vehicle. There is no reason as to why you can't stop and wait for those kids to get on and off the bus. So it's a soft spot in my heart for that, and I get passionate about it, and I will continue to be, because we just hear too many tragic stories of individuals passing the school buses and hitting kids, and there's no reason for it. So, I do have a couple letters of appreciation that I would like to read. One is an email that I received by the gentleman on the Oak Meadow Drive area, and it's an email that was received. And it's to myself and the prosecutor, Sean Fagan. It says, "Gentlemen, thank you for your respective teams for restoring confidence in the justice system on a recent court case win against a resident on Oak Meadow Drive and for pursuing additional charges pending. Hopefully this time she gets more than a hand slap as she did with my case involving a gun. We've also noticed additional sheriff's presence since yesterday, and thank you as well. Thank you and have a great day, Mr. Timothy Tim." This is reference to an ongoing neighborhood dispute that you guys are aware of this individual that's been going on. The residents there have been very appreciative of our stance and our actions as well, to maybe hopefully bring some peace to the neighborhood up there. And then a second letter that I have is from Captain Heineck involving Detectives Aaron Bannock and Jake Coach. Again, I'm glad he beat me to the punch with the letter, because I was going to write one on their behalf as well too. And it says, "Sheriff Heeg, I want to take a moment and recognize the work of Detective Aaron Bannock and Jake Coach. In late August, our agency received several reports of bronze veteran markers stolen from the back of several headstones throughout LaPorte County. The investigation was assigned Detective Bannock and Coach for follow-up with very little information. The detectives developed leads and recovered several bronze markers from a local scrapyard. They recovered plaques that had no identifiers on them and had been cut up, making their job more difficult. Detective Bannock and Coach physically pieced the markers back together and compared the size of the headstones missing the plaques, a task that took a lot of time and patience. On Friday, September 6, 2024, they were able to secure a search warrant for a residence and arrest warrants for 2 individuals, where evidence of the crime was recovered. Detectives Bannock and Coach displayed meticulous investigating and remained committed to bringing justice to our nation's hero. The time and effort displayed by Detective Bannock and Coach is to be commended. Thank you for allowing me to recognize these detectives, Captain Andy Hynek. And I echo his sentiments. The work that them guys did on that. I can remember I come down and spoke to Captain Hynek on Tuesday after Labor Day, and I told him, I says, I want this case solved. This is a big deal. This is absolutely disgusting. This is despicable. This case needs to be solved. And he says, I can do one better for you. We already know who did it, and we're working on a search warrant. So very good job by everybody involved in that. Very pleased with that outcome. And as a reminder, we have a pension board meeting immediately following this. And attached, you'll find the Detective Bureau, the jail, and the warrants report. And so what I've got for you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Are there any comments from the floor?
Morning.
Good morning.
Mike Mullenauer. Just wanted to make a couple comments, and I'm glad to hear and see that the Citizen Police Academy is back in operation. That is a good public relation tool. It just and 20 is a good number, 2025, because you don't want to get too many, but that gets the word out and people talk and tell one another, and it's just good public relations. So I'm glad to see that's back. And also want to commend the officers or detectives that worked that case. I've been reading about it in the paper there with the stolen bronze stars from the graves. That's pretty sad for somebody to even think about doing that. And glad to they got those people, and they're where they belong. And the other thing, well, being a veteran myself, why it's near and dear to my heart too. And I just when I first read about it, I just couldn't believe that somebody would do that, but you never know. And then the last thing is and I know the sheriff knows, and I think most of you know about how I'm about tradition. The two-tone brown, that's what we started with years ago with the sheriff's cars. And unfortunately, that was a cost factor when I was sheriff, and the council decided that they didn't want two-tone brown anymore, and I fought it, and didn't do me any good, but and I lost, but we did go to a solid brown, and I wish the manufacturers wouldn't have upcharged for the, because that's been, I don't know, like I said, it's near and dear to my heart on that also, because it is tradition. I think probably about this department Merit Board was formed in 1966, and that's probably about a little bit before that maybe is when the Sheriff's Association made the two-tone brown uniform and also the brown cars, and it's been that way for quite a while until while I was sheriff, things started changing, and the whites started, you're seeing them pop up a lot through the county. So I guess I can live with that, but it's still disappointing, I guess. So, all right.
As a traditionalist myself, I was always a fan of the two-tone cars as well too, and I was also disappointed to see that it's an upcharge for the brown. And we got to be responsible with the taxpayer dollars as well. And it's,
right,
hate to see it go, but
It's it differentiates the departments is what I always felt. I mean, the state police, they had black for a while and then they went back to white, and see so many city cars in that white.
Yeah.
And with the brown for the sheriff's department, I always felt that was just good, but I can understand. So, yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Comments from the floor? Hearing none, seeing none, comments are closed. Comments from the board? Do you have anything down there on the end?
I do not.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah.
We see you kind of trimmed up a little bit, got too close to the trimmer, I guess.
Yeah, it beat me up.
Okay. Ms. Mock? Jim?
I just want to say I could go along with Mike. My wife and I were in South Bend yesterday,
in front of us was a car, one of their white cars, and I says, they're doing that to the county. I says, I can't stand it. But what are you going to do?
I guess maybe one thing we could do is see when Cablin's has got spray paint on sale and hit it out. I'm sure Mr. Park out the garage would do a fine job, so. But I agree, it's just, I hated to see the two-tone go, and even more disappointed that nothing against white, but again, I have to agree with Mr. Mullenhour that it's just tradition, but I also get it that it's taxpayer money, and we'll see, maybe somebody in the public will come up with a nice donation so we don't have to worry about that in the future. One question or statement I had, I saw it on Facebook, I believe it was, where we recently had one of our canines that kind of went down due to heat exhaustion, and the vet out at All Creature Features, I believe, went beyond to bring our canine back. They're part of the team, and I'm just really happy to see that was a success. And so a question I've got is, what is the age of some of our canines? I don't know if anybody has that, Dallas or anybody, or
Dallas might have. I think they're all fairly young yet. Maybe Bosco's the oldest that we have, Kevin.
Yeah, Bosco would be our oldest. He's pushing 7, maybe early 8 starting. So that whole scenario, they were out on a warrant search. It was that really, really hot day, and just the time out there, and they were, in some taller grass and trying to stay hidden a little bit. And Deputy Samuelson said you could really see Bosco starting to just go quickly from the heat, and so he picked him up and ran him to the car, and he called All Creatures Feature and said he was on his way, and by the time he got there and carried him in, they were all lined up waiting for him, and they stopped everything they were doing and treated him. So
good. Thank you, Captain. I think that's all I've got. Very impressed with the hours that the Marine Division is putting in, and I know when I was out for the boat races, I saw them out there in Lake Michigan, and very impressive. I heard a lot of people making the comment about that, so I hope that continues in the future. So if there's nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Meeting adjourned at 9:25. Thank you.